Okay, hello everybody. This is the first time that I've made a video on this, and what I really wanted to do here is just kind of look through Foodie Beauty's chart because it's fun. I like to dabble in astrology for my own stuff. I look at my own chart a lot. And I did find Foodie Beauty's birth details. Now, at the time, I don't know. I just put it like early morning because I think I heard somewhere that it was very early morning when she was born. So, may not be entirely correct. But if I look at the ascendant here, it's already 14 degrees into the sign. So, maybe it's going to be the right ascendant. I don't know. But I think it's roughly going to be what it looks like. And I've got it set to a whole sign house, so that's why every house is exactly one sign, and that's how I tend to look at it because for my own chart, I tend to notice that that is the most accurate for me. Other people look at like Placidus, and then you get like maybe very small houses and very big houses, and that can make things very interesting looking, that's for sure, but can also make things a little bit difficult to interpret. Anyway, so I was looking at the chart just out of curiosity. And first of all, it is a night chart, which is interesting because that means that certain things will be less lucky than others. Now, I haven't exactly delved into it too much, but for instance, in a night chart, Mars would not be as damaging, but others would be. I think Saturn or something is worse, not entirely sure. But anyway, so it's a night chart, and we know that because the sun, which is right over here, is underneath the horizon. This would be the horizon where your ascendant is, ascendant, descendant. At least this line over here is basically like a horizon, and the sun is here. That means the sun was down, and this is a night chart, therefore. Now, I have a few extra points here, like Algol and Rigel, that I put in there myself at some point for my own chart, because I thought that was interesting. Also, I have Vesta in here. I think that's also how you're supposed to do your service. And then also, this is the vertex point over here, which is, I think, fated meetings. That's sort of an interesting point as well. I don't think I'm going to be able to say too much about Foodie Beauty's fated meetings in this regard. Maybe we can dig into this chart a little more as I learn more about astrology. But first, I just wanted to quickly give an interpretation of what I see right here. We notice that her sixth house, which has a lot to do with health, is in Cancer. All right, that's fine. What I found interesting is when you look at houses, you also have to look at the house ruler, or the sign ruler, basically. The ruler of Cancer is the moon, and the moon is in her first house in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is a sign that always comes across to me as being kind of maybe not otherworldly, but somebody who's standing outside of society and looking inward. Like they're kind of the opposite of the opposite sign over here, which is Leo. Leo likes to be in the sun. Leo likes to be in attention, stuff like that. And interesting that her descendant is in there right now. That should be her like opposite, I guess, if I were to interpret it like that. But her moon being in her first house in Aquarius, and the moon being the ruler of the sixth house, kind of relates to, I think, her public health situation. Like everybody in the outside world can see that a lot about her, because this is first house. First house is about you, is to do with the health, because the moon is connected right here to the sixth house. So, and it's also very public because it is in Aquarius. I think that's kind of like her being on the outside, maybe, but we are looking in. Not sure if I'm making a lot of sense here, but that's kind of like what stood out to me anyway. Also noticed that her north node is in Gemini down here, and I clicked on that because this is solar fire, and you can go ahead and click on things and then you get some information. And over here it says this is a quest to learn to see life from other people's point of view and to become adept in the art of communication. So that's interesting that this is what it says here. It says some other stuff here as well. You have a tendency to be restless and scattered. You need to develop focus and the ability to communicate your ideas in a way that helps the many people in your life. Okay, I mean, this could also mean like she could do something good with her channel if she just were to focus on being truthful and doing all the things that people keep telling her that she should be doing rather than what she's actually doing. But the first sentence in particular, you need to learn to see life from other people's point of view. Interesting to say to somebody who I think a lot of people have classified as at least some type of narcissistic person. And as people know, a narcissist only really views things from their own point of view, and everything that's outside of them is not really as important as them because they are the one big center of the universe. And interestingly enough, the ascendant, like I said, it's in the otherworldly sign of Aquarius and directly opposite of over here, Leo, who wants to be in the sun. So if I were to say like ascendant is kind of like you, it's more you than the rest of the signs basically. Then the Leo is your opposite. This might be the shadow side over here. So she should be stepping back and maybe taking a look at the world from a certain point of view and try to learn to communicate and see things from other people's point of view, which is usually what Aquarius is also doing or trying to. Rather, she is still in her descendant mode, trying to be the star that everybody should look up to or the sun that everybody should admire. She likes to say that she is an Aries. That's because the sun is an Aries. Now, as I understand it, like I said, I just kind of dabbled in astrology. So if you know more about it, make sure to put that in the comment section below to help educate everybody else here. Your sun is more like the engine of the car, and your ascendant is the model. So that's what people see. That's how they react to. Like if I'm driving down the highway and I see a BMW appearing in my rearview mirror, they're probably going to be a little faster than me anyway because of the BMW, but I tend to have a certain idea of what the interaction is going to be like between me and this BMW driver, like that type of thing. That's kind of the ascendant. And then the third factor of that, like your private inside person, that would be the moon. So in order of what people see, it'll be ascendant, sun, moon. And people like to read the sun sign, but the sun sign is very generic. Like the entire month, it's that sun sign. But ascendant is only like in this particular sign for, I think, half an hour, maybe an hour, 45 minutes. I don't know. Not a very long time in any case. So people tend to consider that your actual sign. So she is basically Aquarius, if I were to put it like that. First impression she gives off, the way she tends to react to people, that's Aquarius. Oh, also I just noticed that it says over here, North Node in 5th house. This represents a quest to create your own destiny. You need to give up your personal dreams and develop self-discipline to build a creative life. Develop self-discipline much. All right, so that's interesting to note as well. But what I wanted to also look at, because she tends to have the focus on being with a man. That's the main thing with her. And her Jupiter, which is usually like the male partner for a female who is interested in men, I believe that's how it goes. He is over here in the 12th house, which is kind of like a house of endings, and it's in Capricorn, which is a very earthy sign. So let's click on that and see what that says. Like it says, 12th house is about endings. It's about your hidden strengths and weaknesses. It's also about institutions such as hospitals, jails, libraries, and the armed services. Other exoteric and esoteric words include institutions, spheres, hidden enemies, the collective unconscious, spirituality, unredeemed karma, selfless service to humanity. Particularly that unredeemed karma, and then Jupiter being in there, which is usually what represents the male partner, like I said. It's almost like there is a connection between her partners and all this, like all the endings, the hospitals, the jails, and stuff like that. Well, we've seen that with certain people that we definitely had some issues there. So I think whenever there is a male partner, we're going to see these themes as well. So that's interesting. I kind of want to see, let's see, this is Capricorn. And Saturn rules Capricorn. Let's take a look where you can find Saturn. Saturn is over here. Saturn is in the 10th house. Okay, 10th house is like a career type of thing. All right. So that also makes me wonder if this is also the connection between she has to have a public man like in her career, which is apparently YouTube. I don't think she can actually start another career. She's going to have a man connected to her career. Also says here you have a fear of public failure and you approach your careers with caution. After early setbacks, you will become hardworking and respectable in your chosen profession. All right, well, let's see that happen. Also, it's in Scorpio. That's interesting. You have an intense commitment to work and joint enterprises. Well, I guess you could say that in certain aspects. She is definitely very resilient when it comes to keeping up appearances and all that sort of thing, even though people can see right through that. But okay. You're a resourceful and determined worker. Yep, determined to keep up the charade. Let's see what else we can get here. Public life, standing community, career, social status, reflect your attitude, parenting. Other exoteric as the words include honor, authority, career, and profession. Life direction, achievement, masters, and hierarchy. Now, Scorpio tends to be a sign of secrecy as well. And it's a water sign. So let's see if we can also grab... No, they won't tell us anything about Scorpio in particular. Well, so you have a career house in a sign that is all about secrecy and basically waiting to see what happens, keeping things and people at bay. Mars is also in here. I didn't actually look at that initially. Mars in the 10th house. Ambitious, seeking power through your career. It may involve a battle for top position. Maybe with Amble and Reed, I don't know. Doesn't say that in the chart. You need autonomy and independence in your profession, yes, because I don't think you can make it any other way. Also, Mars in Scorpio, you are a passionate warrior, you are dramatic, and may have long sexual urges. Oh, strong, sorry. Maybe long as well, but strong definitely. You may make vengeful opponents. Yep, that's definitely true. So if you didn't believe in astrology before, I think this kind of sums it up right there. Let's take a look at what we did before. The ruler of Scorpio is Mars, and Mars is in the Scorpio's house, so that's actually strengthened, so we can definitely see where the drama comes from, and the secrecy, so that makes a lot of sense. So even to somebody like me who's not super versed or well-versed in astrology yet, that makes a lot of sense. Now, another thing I like to look at is Chiron. Now, Chiron is called the wounded healer, and he is down here. This is basically where your wound is, and this is in the 4th house. 4th house is, I think, families. Yeah, 4th house is about home and family. That's right. So there's definitely a wound in the family there. Describes your roots, your heritage, and your private life. Other exterior symbols, blah, blah. Home life, roots, family, and relations, psychological foundations, biological inheritance, place of abode, the ashram, and karma. All right, so there's definitely some wounds in that regard. She had quite a bit of wounding, I think, growing up as well. We've heard stories about her and her father and her jealousy towards her younger sister, I believe. Some of that in there, and the Chiron being in there, that'll probably also give us some... Oh, look, we have a whole bunch, actually. This is just a description of Chiron, but we're looking at Chiron in the 4th house. Earlier in your life, you may have felt rejected by your family. Yep. Your home life may have been painful. As you face your pain and find inner resources, you will develop compassion and an ability to help others heal their wounds. Right, so facing her pain is not something she's very good at, because what we know about people who eat too much, or a lot of it, at least what I think we know, is that a lot of that is to do with pushing things down, unhealed trauma and stuff like that. Not a psychologist, obviously. So also this is in Taurus, which is even more of a sign about creature comforts and things like that, which also points towards, I think, her trying to deal with her wounds with things that give her comfort, like food. Mostly food. Let's see, Chiron in Taurus also has a little description here. You will experience a crisis of values. You may experience a lack of self-worth and overcompensate by accruing money and possessions. You may also distrust your body or feel that your body is not beautiful. You will learn to rely on your own and your body's experiences and could become a healer. You will learn to rely on your own and your body's experiences if you make it that far, to be honest. But in order to do that, you have to do a lot of work. Oh, I just noticed as well, one of the extra points that I have selected is Algol. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign, because that one is also in the 4th house in Taurus, right next to Chiron. Now, that doesn't actually give a description, but the Algol is... Not entirely sure about the official name, but it's kind of like a beheaded head, basically, and it might be what beheads the king, like that type of thing. So it's in the 4th house, it's in Taurus. We've already seen that the Chiron thing and the combination with Taurus as well gives the pushing all of our feelings away with food. Now, alcohol is also in here, which could point toward that also being the undoing if she doesn't actually stop it. Now, you can just say that already by looking at her and all the health conditions that she appears to have. But now the chart is also kind of pointing in that direction. So if that's not a warning, then I don't know what is. Let's see what else we have here. We have the Pars Fortune. Does that actually have a description here? Your joy lies in communicating with relationships. In relationships, okay, yeah, definitely. You need to learn to think clearly and develop your higher mind for fulfillment. Oh, yeah, that's definitely some work to be done there. Says also, because it's in Aries, when you're flowing with self-propelled energy, you will experience joy. You will find fulfillment in using your willpower to achieve your goals, right? So that's like positive, right? If you go ahead and use your willpower to achieve your goals, you will find fulfillment there. So that might be something to try. Just kind of looking around the chart now. What else could we look at? That might be interesting to take a quick peek at. We've already had these guys. So the fourth house ruler, Taurus's ruler, is Venus, and Venus is over here in the second house, which is also a possessions house. Let's take a look. It should tell us that right here. Resources, yep, describes what you value, ranging from physical possessions and money to personal self-esteem and talents, while she values love and romance, I guess. Venus in Pisces, yearn to merge to be at one with your partner, yep. So that's what she values most. Well, that's obvious. Anybody who's watching Foodie for a while, we know that she is nothing without a partner. At least that's what she thinks, and that's why she's always trying to flaunt her man, even if she doesn't have one, or one of them's trying to run away. She still wants to claim them or wants to be claimed. It says here, you also enjoy sharing inspirational activities with your partner, ranging from listening to beautiful music to visiting an art gallery. Now, they did go to that science exposition thing. I think that she would like to do these things, but her partners aren't quite partnering, and also she doesn't have the mobility to do this all the time anyway. So I'm thinking that is related now again to the wound, which is in the fourth house. I think this focus on wanting to have this ideal partnership, basically, is kind of what this is pointing towards, because the Pisces sign is a dreamer. If you guys are Venus in Pisces, you have this dream of an ideal partnership. And since Venus is the ruler of the fourth house in this chart, that means that I think this is a dream that came forth from the wound in the family, where it started over here with the fourth house. There's a lot more, of course, that can be said about this chart, but I'm going to give it a rest for now. And if people like this, we're going to continue doing this some other time. For now, though, I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.